franchise Oklahoma's new sound for sports. Sam Mace here at Kalidi Kia, Broadway Extension, Edmond, Oklahoma. Head this way. We've got TVs all over the place, so if you're here just a little bit later, you'll probably be able to watch the game get started. It's 95 degrees outside, a cool 70 in here, 75,000 square foot indoor facility. I love it. Come on out to Kalidi Kia in Edmond, Oklahoma. Chisholm?
Is that you?
We have a guest.
All right, we now head to the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline. We're joined by a very special guest today, Mark Schipper from Fifth Down College Football. Mark, we appreciate you hopping on the airways with us this afternoon. Did you fly from Chicago this morning, or was that a last night kind of a thing?
Yes, sir. It was this morning, up bright and early to O'Hare Airport, out here to Oklahoma City, grabbed a little rental car, and drove out to Norman to my hotel.
Perfect. Okay, so obviously you're writing a college football book. You're friends with Blinken Riley, which does a lot of benefit with me. I can't speak for Sam because he's an Oklahoma State fan. But obviously, you're writing together this historical college football book. I think it's really interesting. I'm excited to get my hands on it whenever it comes out. Kind of tell us what you got in the works here and what people should be looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm traveling all over the country, 15 games at least this fall. I may add one depending on what happens in the bowl season. And I picked historical games, historical teams, stadiums, and I'm going to use those as jumping off points for a book about the history of college football. It's kind of our great folk game. It's local. It's cultural. So every stop you go to, Pacific Northwest, Southern California, Southwest, Southeast, Northeast, each of those regions played a different role in building this, in my opinion, greatest of American games. So I'm going to each of these stops, and it's going to be a travel book, and then it's going to kind of dive deep into the history of this game, which goes all the way back to 1869.
So, Mark,
1869?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I had no idea it was that old.
Yeah, first game, Princeton, Rutgers, out east. I believe it was a 6-4 Rutgers victory. It didn't even quite look like football, but yeah, we celebrated the 150th season 2 years back.
So as far as just the book in itself, are you going to be doing, like obviously we're talking about the football teams and the culture and all the things, but so you're in Norman on a Thursday, so what does your day look like? Like tell me how you gather, like what are you doing in Norman over the next 2 days to help you with whatever portion of the book this is going to be in?
Yeah, just hanging out in the hotel room, looking out the window. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm joking. Those things are expensive, Mark. Be careful.
Yeah, exactly. I just never leave the hotel room. Today, for example, right when I got into town, I went straight to campus to see what was going on, and they're building the Fox desk over there, so I took some video there. I'm kind of putting together video logs, and they're going to go up on YouTube and on my social feeds to kind of track the journey. So I was over there watching them build the set, and then I walked over to the stadium and just walked right down onto the field. I shot some video where they were finishing up the paint job and kind of had some thoughts on the game, and then I'll do stuff like that. I got a dinner tonight in Oklahoma City at kind of a historic spot. A local guy's going to show me some stuff. And then Friday, I'll probably be back around campus. I just kind of look for local stuff, local spots to go to, pick up on what people do in these areas and try and tell those local stories. And then obviously game day, it's like, man, 7, 8, 9 hours over by the stadium, just putting everything together. So it's kind of an immersive experience while I'm in town, wherever I'm at.
So, obviously, you're here to talk about OU Nebraska in the historical matchup here. Now, when people listening to this show hear OU Nebraska, they hear first OU Nebraska in that order, very specifically, because Sooner Magic and Barry Switzer and all the great coaches who have been a part of that rivalry over the years, you're not from here. And so you probably have a little bit different of a recollection of what OU Nebraska means to you. So just in the course of writing this book and just, your memory as a college football fan, when you think about this rivalry, what comes to mind?
Well, it's a keystone rivalry in the history of college football. You talk about this region of the country, kind of the Great Plains Southwest, the Big 8 Conference, and the Big 12. This was it. For many years, at one point, I believe 40 of 42 conference titles were decided between Oklahoma and Nebraska. They basically played Thanksgiving every year for the title. As a kid, I remember when the outcome was decided, and often it wasn't until very late in the game, but the oranges would come raining down out of the stands onto the field, which is very college football, very colorful and memorable. And so I remember this game being everything to this league. And when TV forced realignment and Texas took their contract with ESPN and Nebraska hightailed to the Big Ten, and now we've obviously got the move by Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC in the next few years, I think something critical to college football was lost with the end of this rivalry. And I think this weekend, when you're talking about a 50th anniversary of a game of the century, and Nebraska's not what it was, the amount of energy and excitement for this game is still extremely high. So they haven't even played in 11 years. 2010, I believe, was the last meeting. So that's how important this game was to college football, and these two schools are to college football history, the Heisman Trophy winners, the national titles. So for me, when I saw this on the schedule and I'm writing a book this year, it was an absolute must-go.
Obviously, the game of the century is, something that is brought up in college football all the time because of what it was. I'm 28 years old. I don't remember that game. I'm a little bit on the younger side, and a lot of our listeners are too. Maybe can you give us some historical context of what that game was and why it was so special, not when it comes just to Oklahoma and Nebraska, but to college football as a whole?
Yeah, well, just for reference, I'm in my 30s, so I'm not. I don't remember that game in an organic way either. It's the historical nature of what I do is why I know it. I watch a lot of old games, etc. But that game, in its time, Nebraska had won the 70 national title. They were back in 71. Oklahoma had a team that was basically every bit as good as Nebraska. It was a classic number 1 versus number 2 game in college football, which over the decades and centuries has actually happened very infrequently. I put together my list of games of the centuries. I think it's 11 or 12 games when you're talking about a 152-year-old game and thousands played every season. So it was a rare thing. It was the fact that it also happened in one of the game's most heated rivalries, Nebraska-Oklahoma, and Thanksgiving weekend, which is one of the last weekends of the year. You're basically talking about a Super Bowl-esque game, but much more organic than the Super Bowl. So it just came together over the course of 10 or 11 games in the season, both schools undefeated. And it just came down to 60 minutes and who's going to win on the field. And then the fact that it was a sensational football game with a huge punt return touchdown and then a back and forth battle, good scoring, good defense. And Nebraska won the second of their back-to-back titles, 70-71. And that turned out to be kind of a rare thing. After that, Oklahoma was fairly dominant in the series while both teams were good. Barry Switzer really kind of owned Tom Osborne at Nebraska, and it was a little bit of a sore spot with the Cornhuskers. But that game of the century, they actually called the 1987 rematch Game of the Century 2. It was another top 3 showdown between Oklahoma and Nebraska. So that original game of the century really kind of set the tone of excellence and high importance for the next 2 decades in that rivalry.
Now, how much fan interaction will you have over the next couple of days? And do you have any sort of idea what you expect to hear from both sides, right? I mean, both very passionate fan bases, obviously both on 2 different trajectories at this point. As Oklahoma still a premier team in college football, Nebraska's holding on for dear life.
Right. Yeah, fan interaction. So I try to set things up beforehand. I try to find people who tailgate regularly, who've been season ticket holders, and I try to spend a little time with them. And then I walk around and kind of make myself conspicuous. My Fifth Down T-shirts haven't come in, unfortunately. I should drop the name of that company on the air, and maybe they'll hurry up. But I'm going to have a T-shirt that says my name, so hopefully people will approach me a little more. I slap a sticker on there, and I try to hand out stickers and pins to kind of show people I'm friendly and you should come talk to me. But in terms of what I'm going to hear, I think Oklahoma people are wondering how their team's going to play, because famously in the late 90s, as Oklahoma kind of lost their identity and bottomed out, Nebraska was hitting their peak. Osborne's 3 national titles came in the 90s. And in 96, Nebraska beat Oklahoma 73-21. In 97, Nebraska beat Oklahoma 69-7. So they had no mercy in back-to-back seasons when Oklahoma was down. So I think Oklahoma fans might be hoping for a slaughter at Memorial Field tomorrow. And Nebraska fans, I think, want to keep it close. I think they want to look respectable. They don't want to get embarrassed. There were rumors earlier this year that they wanted to get out of this game, potentially because it was starting to look like such a mismatch. So, Nebraska fans are very proud, and I know the last thing they want is to be embarrassed. So I'm kind of expecting those two attitudes tomorrow, but we'll see.
All right, Mark, last one, and then we'll let you go. We appreciate you hopping on with us. And this is going to be a little bit bigger picture. But you mentioned it earlier that one of the fibers of college football is these rivalries and how much they matter. Yeah. And now TV deals and TV contracts is forcing realignment, and we're losing some of these rivalries. Yeah. Are you writing this book because they're so important and you think they might be leaving us going forward? Or do you think maybe there's some hope where it's just, OU will play a different team every year and that will become a rivalry over time? How do you kind of see the context of college football going forward?
That's a great question. I love that question because part of the reason this year is shaping up to be such a great year to do this, I was going to do it last year and then COVID derailed everything. Part of the reason this year has shaped up to be an even better year is because it looks like we're on the precipice of another big reshuffling in college football. When you talk about Oklahoma and Texas jumping to the SEC, the Big 12 basically reconstituting itself. It's going to be almost kind of a new league, especially with Oklahoma gone. So there is a bit of a looking for the twilight in this tour because I don't know what shape the game's going to take over the next decade or so. It may turn into something quite different than what we're used to. And the rivalries in college football, the regionalism of the game, the kind of folk nature of the game, every part of this country you go to is a little different, is to me what makes it special, what makes it great, and what makes it different from professional football. So, that is something I'm on the lookout for. One more quick example of that, actually, of TV doing something good, because I'm looking for the good too, is Texas and Texas A&M in the SEC are going to play again. That was another major rivalry we lost when A&M left the Big 12. So we lose some, and I guess we're getting one back. And I can't say exactly what the future is going to hold, but I'm going to try and forecast it as best I can.
All right, Mark, tell everybody one more time where they can follow you on social media, keep up with everything you're doing this year, and most importantly, buy your book.
Yes, sir. The website is the best place to go. It's Fifth Down. That's the number 5, THDownCFB.com. Drop off your email. You're on the newsletter. You can follow the journey and participate wherever you want.
All right, Mark, we appreciate you hopping on with us. And make sure you get some good food while you're here. I promise Oklahoma City has some good stuff to offer, man.
No doubt about it. Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.